What's up, guys? We are back at it. This week we are going to be looking at mixing, a little bit of basics of mixing, as well as getting into playing some of these virtual instruments. So what I want you to do, you are going to copy what I have on my session right now. So how you're going to do that is you're going to go to your Soundtrap, right? You go to musicfirst.com and use your login. Once you open a new session, you go to your loops, right? And then we look at our first loop, Vermont-vocals 1. And you'll see that, and you're just going to drag that in, right? I already have it, so I'm going to delete this track. So you'll drag it into your first one. Your second one will be bass. Bass dash SUSP. Same deal, drag that in under your vocals. Your third track is going to be Vertigo. And we have Now Kit. And it's going to be kick and snare 1. You're going to drag that in to your third slot, your third track. And our fourth track, we're going to have Lucid dash string pad. Right, so guys, like for this one, you can double click here. Oh, never mind, don't do that. So for this one, right, we have Lucid string pad number 1. And again, we have that. We'll just drag it into our third track. All right. And then the last thing you're going to do, see where I have mountaintop lead, you're going to go add new track. You're going to go guitar and bass. And the first instrument we have in here is the rock guitar mountaintop lead. So again, I'm going to delete that second one I just put in. And this is what your session is going to look like. This is what your session is going to sound like. All right, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at some basic mixing stuff. So on each one of our tracks, we have a record button, you know what, I'm going to allow. We have a record button. You can turn on and off. When you turn the record button on, that means whatever track is here, you can record audio into that track. So we're not going to use that right now. Next, we have our volume fader. So if we click and drag down, then the volume for this track will be all the way off and we won't be able to hear it. As we click, hold, and drag up, the volume goes up. Right? Next, we have this little headphone. That's solos. So then we only hear the one track. Next, we have disabled track. That mutes. And then third, we have automation. So what we're going to be looking at today is we're going to be looking at the different volume levels of each one of our tracks. And then we're going to be looking at, if you click this little circle, we're going to be looking at pan, right? So similar to volume, if you click hold, you drag up, it pans this track all the way to our right speaker. That means it only comes out of our right speaker. So I don't know if you can hear it. As we drag it left, coming out of only our left speaker. So it's panned hard left right now. Now it's panned hard right. And then if it's all the way in the middle, it's panned center. So when it's panned center, you can hear equal amount in your left speaker, equal amount in your right speaker. So take a second, just mess around, checking out what pan sounds like on your speakers or on your headphones, as well as mess around with the volume, see what that sounds like. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at some basics of panning. basics of volume, fader leveling, and panning. So remember, the goal here is to make all of our different sounds that we have in our song kind of fit in their nice little spot so they can all be heard by the listener. So our first is our vocals, our most important. So vocals, we're going to have panned, center, right? So dead center, anything that's right in the middle, anything's panned center is going to be the most heard. So keeping them dead center, and we want to listen and find a level where we can hear them and they're clear, but they're also not too loud. Cool. So something like that. Next, we're going to go down to we're going to skip bass for now. And we're going to go to kick. Or our drum set, really. So whenever we're thinking about mixing our drums, we always are thinking about how it sits with the bass. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our bass and we're going to pan it slightly left. Right? And then we're going to, just a little bit, that might even be too much. And then we're going to go to our drums and we're going to pan those slightly right, just barely, just so they're not sitting on top of each other. Right? And then what we could do is we could solo these 3 tracks and make sure we get their volume levels together. Sounding good. So I'm pulling drums back a little bit, pulling back bass a little bit. But right now it sounds pretty good. All right, now the last thing we're going to look at in terms of our basic mixing, our volume and panning is our strings. So you can see the string volume is all the way a lot up. I already just have it mixed it a little bit. So when I dropped it in, it was probably like here or something like that. Obviously we can't hear it, so I pulled it up. So we could hear it. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to pan it probably about there. And then I can put the volume up a little bit as I pan it a little bit. All right. So again, we have our volume level of each track, and then we have our pan. Remember, pan is left to right, volume is loud and soft. So like the louder it is, the more in your face it sounds. The softer it is, the more further away it sounds, right? And then the more panned left it is, the more it sounds like it's on the left of the mix. The more panned right it is, it sounds like it's more on the right of the mix. So we have this left, right, forward, and back. We get this kind of a 3-dimensional sound going on. Now, the last thing I want you to do is just do a brief experimentation with our mountaintop lead. So you're going to click on this track, double click it. Sorry, you're going to click the circle, don't double click it. And then if you look down here, we have our keyboard keys, right? And because this is all in C, right? Any of these work. So you want to mess around with your Z, X, C, V, B, N, M, comma, period, then you skip up to Q, W, E, right? So mess around from Z to E. and it should be C3. And if it's not, if you hit this octave, then the key down here will change, right? So you want our Z to be C3. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna have it playing, mess around, experiment. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna hit record. Hold on, sorry, turn our metronome on. Hit record. And then you record. Now, last step you're gonna go do is go edit, quantize, 1/8. And what that does is it puts everything in tempo, hopefully. Turn metronome off. So I'm gonna undo that. I'm gonna go edit, quantize. I'm gonna do 1/16. And then as I listen, I'm gonna pull it down a little bit, right? And I'm gonna go pan it. I'm gonna pan it slightly left, kind of opposite how we panned the piano. And that's it. So kind of a lot in this video. We have our 4 different tracks. You're gonna experiment with the volume faders and the panning, right? You don't have to pan and volume exactly as I did. I want you to kind of listen with your ears and pan it in volume level, fader level as you feel fits, and then you're gonna mess around with this mountaintop lead, right? So remember, we need to click R so we can allow for recording. Just hit OK to any of the messages that happen once you hit R, allow it to record. And then you'll be playing, you're gonna record some stuff in, you'll quantize, and you'll be good to go. All right, y'all, see you in the next one.